So this video is going to be for the chapter 3 of the practical book of class 12. And I'll be doing it in two parts. There are two models actually for you. One is going to be assuming that the contents to be added to the binary file are going to be a list. And the other one is the contents are going to be added as a dictionary. So a total of 10 programs in this exercise. So the major thing that we have to remember is you have to do an import pickle. This is the first line in all our programs. So import pickle will import two main functions for us. We need to have a load and a dump method. So previously we did text files. In text files, we have functions for read lines, read line, and write lines. So here, instead of those functions, we are going to have a different set of functions. So now first, what is a binary file? The basics, we'll be doing it in the theory part of it. But ideally, in a binary file, the data will be stored as binary. It will be stored as zeros and ones. So that's the difference. And it's much more easier. It is much more organized than a text file, because text file, there's a chance of being corrupted. And then you can add any junk data there. Here, it is going to be a little more organized. So as the name implies, dump is throwing something. So it is putting something into a file. You use dump method. It's like writing. And load is take something, right? So it's going to read something from the binary file. So the first program I have created here is create and display a binary file using lists. And in this program, I have a create method. I'm using items, I'm taking them, and we are going to display that. So it's going to be a simple program. I'm going to do it line by line with you. So first, let's start with so let's import pickle first as the first step. So after import pickle, we can use functions. It's always easier to use functions because you can call them anywhere else in your next program also. We can use the same functions. Maybe we can just include this file name there. So that way it is easier for us. We don't have to rewrite things again and again. Unlike text files, I cannot maybe see the contents of these files. So it doesn't matter where it is. So probably I will just say item.dat. And because I'm going to create a new file, I'm going to open this in append binary mode. So this will be my first line for anything. I have to decide how I have to open the file. Now I can do it in different ways. Maybe I can give an unlimited while true, and I can ask the user to keep on entering values. We'll be doing that in the project thing. So here I am just asking the user, tell me how many values you have. So I'm saying int input, enter the number of records, number of items, however you want to sentence it, right? And then I'm going to start. So for I in range n, so as long as I have not reached my limit, I'm going to. So this I have already. It's actually, I believe in doing this. Like I can do this as. I can just say A, B, C, D. I don't even have to give meaningful names, but yes, while you're practicing for trying, you can actually say A, B, C, D. You have 4 values here. I can just say A is equal to int input. It's your own design as long as it's not given in the question. Enter item number, item name, quantity, and price. So item number. B is equal to input because it's a name. Enter name. Then I have, let's say, C is equal to, I need how much I want, so quantity. So int input. I can also have a float here. And then let's say D is equal to float input. Enter price. So we are creating a record. So we can say anything, right? If it's a soap, what is the name of that item? And then I can assign item code to it. I can give the quantity, how much quantity is there, and what is the price. So once I do this, I can simply do one thing. I can just say record is equal to A, B, C, D. It's very, very easy to do this because this is going to be our theory question also. In theory exam also, you have a question where binary files is a 5-mark question for us. So binary file and CSV file, they have been interchangeably asking that. So either binary file is a 5-mark and CSV becomes a case study where you have maybe fill in the blanks, or it will be vice versa. So if it's a 5-mark question for us, they will ask us to write functions for, there are only 5 functions that they can ask you to write. They can ask you to create, they can ask you to display, search, delete, update. So we are going to do all the 5 functions. And if you understand the logic behind the functions, instead of item.dat in the exam, it's going to be student.dat, employee.dat, courier.dat, whatever it is. So that just the name is going to change, and based on it, the values are going to change, but ABCD remains the same for us. So I have just added that. Now, once the record is created, I can just say pickle.dump. So pickle.dump, the syntax comes here in Italy for you. In exam, you will not have that. So it's going to be record, comma, file. So file is F. I have given the name F to it. So now this is done. Every time I enter a value, it is being put into the file. So for, let's say I am taking 3 records, 3 values are created, and this function is done. And once I come out, I have missed it here, but yes, I have to do a f.close. So f.close will make sure that there is nothing left there and the file is neatly closed. Now I can do my display. Because I cannot go inside and check if the file has been created, I have to do a display function. So when I do a display function, I'm going to start the same thing. I'm going to open this file in read binary mode. So remember the difference here. So there is a RB. So when I'm opening it in read binary mode, here there is a problem. The problem is you have to definitely use true, while true, try, except block here. We avoided that in text files. I told you how to avoid that in the text files, but here it might not be possible. So I have to use it. So after opening the file, I will immediately say while true. So as long as the file is open, I will just say x is equal to pickle.load. So if you look at the syntax here, pickle.load, you have only the file here. So I have to say from which file to load, which is F in this case. So all the values that are there in the file are loaded into X. Now I can directly print. I can just print X. I can print the record. So this I can write inside a try because I don't know when the file is going to end. So I'm going to put it inside a try. So I have 2 statements here in try. If X is exists, then I'm going to print. If it is going to throw an exception, then I'm going to say except EOF error. And I can actually break from the loop because when there is a when the file has finished, then I have nothing more to print. I can just break. So now this will display the items. Let's try this function. We have to call that. So here I can just say create once and display. You need not write this in your theory exam, but here for practicals we need this. So let's run this. We take 2 records. So it has written those details there, and it is also displaying me the details. Now, what have I done here? I have done to make it in a beautified format. I have just said, instead of directly printing it, I have just printed it as saying item number, item name, item quantity, item price. And then I've just calculated the amount. That is, I just multiplied how many quantity I want into the price of each item. So give me a final bill. So this is one logic which I have tried to do here for you, right? So I'm moving on to the next question where I'm asking you to search. I'm so asking you to search for the second lab exercise here says search in a binary file. So you're going to give me the same file I'm taking whose price is greater than or equal to 5. I want only those records. So let me try to reuse the existing code. Let me take my display function. So let's open a new file. As much as possible, try to use functions because you will be tested on functions, and this is the best way to learn functions also. So this is very similar to your display function, except that we are not going to display everything. We are going to display only a certain, if the price is greater than. Now, when I load it as X, it's a list now. So we know the price is, first one is item number, next is item name, and then you have quantity and finally price. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it's the index number 3. So what I will try here, I will load it. If X is equal to none, break. That is, in case X is not there, there's nothing returned in X, then break. Else what I am doing, if X of 3 is greater than or equal to 5. This is how I check for the price. I have to print X. So I can print the same way as just X, wherein I will get only those values. Or I can do some beautification here, wherein I can just say, for practical purposes, you can do all the beautifications here. But theory exam, it's only for 2 marks. So for 2 marks, they will only expect you to do the logic correctly. So there is no need for any decorations there. So you can just search, and I hope this will work because we have just now created this function. So let me call search. This is my program 2. You can see that both the values, the price is greater than, one is 5, the other one is 20. So it is giving me this answer. Let me change it here. Let me try to change this program and print the price greater than 10. So now I should be seeing only one record on the screen. There's only one record on the screen. The lab exercise 3 is going to be, again, you can look at it. It's saying create and display a binary file as a dictionary. And the fourth exercise, we'll do both together. Search a binary file dictionary. So both these lab exercises are very similar to what we did before lab exercise 1 and 2. So how are we going to change it? So let me take the same function and I just modify it. Now in this case, there is one small change. That is, there is a dictionary. Instead of a list, it's going to be a dictionary. So I have said def create, I have opened it, I have got the number of records, I've got all the inputs. And now I'm not going to create a list. I'm just commenting it to show you where I am changing. All the code remains the same. So in this case, now I have to say D of A, right? The key value should be the item number is equal to BC. Very straightforward. I have taken a dictionary and I have put a key as the item number, and the name, quantity, and price becomes the values for the key. So otherwise it remains the same. Instead of record, I'm going to now dump D. No other change. The program remains the same. So there are, usually they are asking in the board exam a list question or a dictionary question. So far it has been like that. And they are sticking on to list as much as possible. So I'm hoping that dictionary they will not ask specifically. But it is always good to know both the models, because if at all in exam you get a question based on dictionary, you know how to change the existing program. So here again the same thing, it is going to load. So after loading, we have to print it. So here also I can print it directly. If I print it directly, I will get as a dictionary value. No, if I want to print it as a proper item number, item name, then I have to say for each key in dictionary and I have to print it. I've done the code there. I can show you that. But first, let's run this. Let's see if the basic works here. This is your lab exercise 3 of binary file. Enter the number of records. Again, it's creating. So 2, let me give the item number. Name is pencil. Quantity is 3 and price is 2. So there's an error. Let's check what the error is. Float object does not support item assignment. Okay, so I made an error here wherein I have used D here for taking a float input and I've used D for the dictionary name also. So I have to change one of them definitely. So let me change this to DD so that now I hope this will work. So dictionary name is DD here for me. I'm dumping that. Number of reports as 2. And item number 1, item name is pen. Quantity 2, price is star. Number 2, name is pencil. And I have a quantity 3 and a price of 2. So it has written that here. Right. So now let's go back. You can see that the dictionary is being written again and again. So I'm just moving this line. The line was here. So instead of doing it after every for loop, the dictionary is going to keep on getting created. And once I come out of the for loop, I'm going to do a pickle dot dump. Now, because now my junk value is there in my item dot dat, I'm going to change it to write binary mode so that it will get cleaned off automatically. So let's run this one like once again. The number of records is 2 now. Item number 1. Item number 2 is name for it. And I have my quantity as 5 and price as 2. So now you can see that it is written properly. Only one record is there in the file also. So once we have created and displayed the file, next we have to move on to the search. Search is the 4th lab exercise. So let me change the same display function into search. So I'm opening it in read binary mode and I say, I'm going to load it till this, there will not be much change. But yes, immediately after this, I can ask the person to enter the item number to search for. So let's say N is equal to, or I is equal to int input, enter item number to search. So after I load, if X is not there, if X is equal to none, I will break. So first is I will try to see if there is no end of file being returned there. And if at all there is an error, it is anyways going to catch it up here. So after I read, I'm going to say for each some value A in X, for each key in X, if that A is equal to I, if it is equal to the item number that we are searching, then I'm going to print X of, that is, it is going to print me probably A comma X of A, I can say, so that it will tell me the item number as well as the values. Otherwise, only values will get printed. I hope this will work. So we will just call this function search here. This is my lab exercise 4 of binary file. So I think I gave the item number as 1. Yes, 1 was pen. If I give 2, I will get a pencil. So same way I have given in the code, if you can look at it, I have displayed it. I have displayed it as item number is equal to A, item name is equal to whatever. In this case, it is X, right? So X is my pickle dot load X of A, and the 0th value will be the first one. And for second one, all the values I have tried to print it here as a dictionary format. So you can see the output here. It is going to be like item number is 11, item name is this, quantity is this, and item price and amount, total amount to be paid for that. So 5 is quantity into item price. I've just modified it like that. Lab exercise 5 and 6, I'm just going to go through the code with you because it's a bigger program. So I hope now you have got the line by line writing of each of these codes. So let's take from here the update function. The next exercise is going to be a delete function. Ideally, this usually works with seek and tell, but I would prefer to do it this way rather than the other way, because sometimes the seek and tell is making a lot of confusions and you're getting a lot of error messages which you might not be able to fix. Maybe because opening a file in RB plus mode is not the best way to do this program. So update and delete are very less asked questions. They don't usually ask this in the board exam, But yes, for your practical exam, you might have to know these programs. So for updating, the logic remains the same. You're first trying to read the file and then you're going to write it. So first I'm opening the file in read mode and I'm getting the item number which has to be updated. So the same logic goes in here like how we did for searching. For A in X, if A is equal to N, if we have found that we are getting only the quantity to update, I have chosen quantity to be updated. You can also update the item price. So both of them you can give. So if at all you want to add that line, you are going to say X of A2 is equal to get the price also to be updated. You can make this as a big project wherein you can ask the user which do you want to update. So you can, based on his choice, you can write different codes for that, whether he wants to update the name, whether he wants to update the quantity or price. You can just maintain the item number as constant, maybe not allow him to change everything there. So once this is done, we have got all the values. We have modified the values also, and the modified values are there in X itself. Now I'm closing the file. I'm again opening a new file. I'm opening this in write binary mode because now I'm going to rewrite all the values. So I'm going to dump X comma F and I'm going to close it. So if the item is not found, if found is false, then I have to just say item is not found. Otherwise, it is going to write it for you. Now I also have a display function here where I am trying to display it as in the previous cases. So let's run this program. First, let's see what all are there. We got an error because there is no file like itemdict.dat. The file name we have used so far is item.dat. So in the book I had given it as itemdict.dat. So I have just copied the same program. So now I have changed the name. Let's see if it works. I can see that it has displayed whatever is already there. Now I can update my data. Item number 1. So quantity is initially 2. Let me make it 5. Let me try to display the data now. So the quantity you can see here, it is 2. It has become 5 here. So it has been successfully updated. So I'm in the lab exercise 6, the deletion of a dictionary based question. So I'm taking the same file. I've taken the file name as item.dat. So what are we trying to do here? What is the logic we are trying to do here? Is we are going to first open it in read mode, load all the details and close the file. So all the details are now in yellow. Now I'm going to check for each value. I have to find the item number to be deleted. And for each key, I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to take one by one element. If that particular key is there, then I'm going to, I've actually opened this file. If you notice it, I have opened this file in write binary mode, which means now the file is completely empty. So if I don't want to risk doing it, if there's an error or an exception some way, the file will be erased. To avoid doing it, maybe I can use a temp.dat here. I can delete and then rename it, remove and rename it. But even otherwise, this will work for us. So when the item number to be deleted is there, it is, if it is not equal to that, I'm going to dump it into the particular file. So only if the value is not there, if the key is, ideally what we are doing is we are just leaving behind the key which has to be deleted and copying everything else into a new file again. So finally it's going to, let's run this. So the item to be deleted will be deleted from the list. So we have completed till the lab exercise 6 and I will continue. And another way of also, this is actually a not very important updation and deletion as far as your CBSE is concerned. It is only there for project purposes. So as far as possible, use the list way itself to do the programs. So I'll continue the remaining 4 programs in my next video.